lean coffee discussion, right? So those of you who do not
Yeah.
know about what is lean coffee, let me very briefly explain. So lean coffee is a structured but kind of an agenda-less meeting. So agenda-less, so we already have the agenda here, right? The 12 agile principles. So what we are saying that rather than going all 12 principles, we will go through a lean coffee format. So what we will do is I will share the link, me or Mayuresh will share the link, and then these are the 12 agile principles, right? So you will have 4 watts you will be getting, and then you have to pick those 4 principles which you would like to discuss today and then submit. So once everybody submits, we'll have the data that the participants today would like to focus on which agile principles, and then we'll work on, or we'll take the top voted principle, we'll discuss about 5 minutes, and then we'll move to the next one. That that would be the format, and that's why we need everybody's participation. If you can turn on the video, that would be great.
So Rahul and Vijay, I have posted the Google Form link. This is a simple form, just access it and tick 4 boxes and submit. In a time box manner, we'll try to come up with principles that we want to choose. So whatever is the result, either I'll share it on screen or I'll just post it on the chat, whatever works. And accordingly, we can take it forward.
Yes.
That works?
Yeah. Thank you, Maresh. The
Yep.
link is already out. Let me show you as well how it looks like, and then you can go and then submit it. So here are your options. Choose any 4 options which you would like to discuss today and then submit. We have 2 minutes. We'll take, we'll look at the results at 7:38 in 2 minutes of time. Here is your chance to talk about like what are your options are, like what are the principles you would like to know more about, or principles you do not understand, or principles where you would like to know how do we bring them into practice. So that is your opportunity to work on it.
Yeah. So we are not discussing all the principles, but few which are selected, right?
Yeah, correct. The top 5-6, based on the discussion and the time permits, we will pick up at least 4-5 principles for sure.
And we can have coffee while discussing. That would be a lean coffee.
Yeah.
We got about 9 responses so far. So a few more.
Yeah, we have around 20 plus participants.
Yes.
So we'll wait for a minute. So we have 11 responses. That means people are able to access. There isn't any concern on the number of the responses and other stuff. That's good. Guys, the benefit of lean coffee is like you can vote, right, for the topic you would like to discuss. So we want to make sure that the agenda is decided by participants. That's the beauty of it. Mayuresh, how many responses do we have?
So far, we have 12 responses.
Is anybody finding it difficult?
So about 50%. So we still are waiting. If we exclude 3 of us, that's about 20. So 8 more we are awaited. Still 12. Any difficulties in accessing the questions?
Hi, Nitin here. I'm audible enough?
Yes, you are audible.
Like I had just raised my point that I need to discuss in the chat. Is there any other place wherein you want me to vote or go somewhere?
Okay, so we have posted a Google form link. I'll repost it if you like
Yeah,
to.
please repost. I believe that I joined in late. That is why I am not seeing.
No worries. So I just have posted.
So Ranjit says that I cannot access uh, the link because it's restricted for the office laptop. Just let us know the numbers even if you can do that one.
Thank you. I did it. And I'm sorry. I'm not sure whether I'm only listening. I mean the volume is low all for you, so I'm not sure whether I'm only getting this challenge or anybody else.
I think your volume is also okay, so
Okay, maybe,
you should
maybe
be able
then.
to hear us. Yeah,
No, I'm able to hear you, but then again, I mean, it will be good if in case it will be a bit, loud.
sure, we'll try.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Sure. Okay, let us look at the results now.
Yeah. So are you sharing or do you want me to
Yeah, I
share?
will. Let me share,
Okay,
or you can
wonderful.
go ahead and share. Let me
No, I
stop
think your
sharing.
screen is on. So better, I think you can. If you want any help, do let me know.
Sure. Let me share. So here is the results. We have 17 responses. Thank you very much. Okay, so which one is the top one? The principle number 10, simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not done is essential.
Yes.
Good. And then we have self-organizing team. And then the third one is we have early and continuous delivery of valuable software, the first principle. Wonderful. And then we have there are three other principles where we have tie, which everybody getting 5 votes each. Thank you. Thank you very much on this one. And then let's discuss the first topic. Let's assign 5 minutes for this one. And then we'll see if more time is required on this one. So the principle number 10, simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not done is essential. Let me share my thoughts on it. First of all, sometimes this principle is difficult to understand when we read it for the first time. We are here to do the maximum work and then make the customer happy, our employer happy, and deliver good value. But the principle says that the art of maximizing the amount of work not done is essential. That is something different, right? So what it talks about? It talks about whatever we deliver, right? It should be valuable to customer. It doesn't depend on me that I should be doing this one. Always we have to ask question whether this one is useful to customer or not. Right? Like gold plating, we shouldn't be doing it. But let me give you one example. I was in BMC software, and at that time, I was working on a service desk product. The product was huge, so many features, functionality, and everything. But when we received, there were around 3,000 plus customers. So obviously, a lot of defects also were there. And when we analyzed the defect data, we figured out that the almost 80% of the defects were coming from 3 modules. So is it those 3 modules had the maximum defects and everything else was good? No, that was not the case, then most of the 80% of users were focusing or using only those 3 features. Right? That's why the maximum number of defects were there. So what it tells that we have to focus on the 80% features which is delivering value. Pareto principle, right? 80-20. So if we focus on 20% of features which will deliver 80% of value, we are good. So simplicity is about art of maximizing amount of work not done. So we shouldn't be doing those other work which is not delivering any value. And this is very, very essential. Without this, it won't work. Mayuresh or Vijay, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, anybody, I think Samuel has posted on link. Samuel, would you like to add, please? Let's have coffee from Samuel. Yeah.
It's about coffee. Okay. What I'm writing, I already learning from Vijay and the campaign. It's about the starting, start finishing. It's most about flow. It's most about value. We need to deliver a value quickly as we can. It's about lead time. So this is main things. That's what I need just to add.
Yeah, keep it simple. True. Anybody else?
Yes, it's a simple. If we deliver one big batch, it will take times to deliver. If we deliver small things, it will be very fast.
Correct.
And another point is, as you mentioned, Rahul, rather than having that gold plating, what mentality is there. If customer asks A, we try to give A plus or A double plus. So rather than that, if we can keep our scope as simple as possible and what the customer is asking for, I feel that is another simplicity part, my view.
Show it to customer, right? Show it to end user and then let them figure out whether they find value in it or not. And if they find value, and then we say, okay, what is the feedback? And then we implement something more, right? So another example of simplicity would be MVP, right? Minimum viable product. That's what we focus on. We focus on simplicity. Just MVP. Deliver the minimum. So why? So we can validate our hypothesis that whether whatever we are building will deliver some value or not.
So a couple of
would like to, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this Mayuresh. So a couple of perspectives I would like to add. So more is not merrier is the case. Simpler, as the statement says. More important it is in the context of maximizing the effect or effectiveness of agility in terms of how effectively we are evaluating what is important for the customers in the minimum amount of time. So when we say value effort matrix, or when we talk about what is the value that we are doing, so there are various methods in SAFe, it's WSJF. So prioritization, what is benefiting maximum to the customers is being evaluated by and validated by product owner or by Scrum team in coordination, and that something is coming out and taken as a priority, rather than having too many things which are not valued, whereas team is spending a lot of time in terms of getting it done, but ultimately it's not benefiting the end customers, which are like using certain set of functionalities, features which is useful for them. So that's the perspective we give and take. If that thought process is initiated by the team, by the product owner, in have a continuous feedback from the customers in terms of what makes more sense to them in order to solve even some of the resolving defects, high priority defects, which are simplifying the functionalities workflows, will be an immense value rather than having a big bang feature that is been planned and eventually it's not been used. So some of the thoughts around this, both the sides of it, functionality and defect part of it. If that makes sense. If I'm just
Yeah, very good point, Mayuresh. And from defects, I remembered one more example from the BMC software. So as I mentioned that we had around 3,000 plus customers and so many defects as well. So one day the product management said, let's look at those defects, and they were around 1,500 plus open defects. Now the simplicity comes into picture, right? We do not want to fix all defects. That's where the art of maximizing the amount of work not done, we don't want to do, right? We don't want to fix so many defects. So what we did, we did the classification. Those defects were reported by whom, how many customers, what is the support contract with them, how much money we are getting annual in support contract and other stuff. And rest all defects, we said that we won't be fixing them. So around 1,500 plus defects, we said that we are not fixing them. And then we got the feedback from customers and partners. No, this is important defect. We really would like to fix, want you to fix. And then we happily said, okay, that means this one is important. That's why you have come back to us. So we will fix only those defects. And we were happy. So what we focused on in that one, maximizing the amount of work not done. We focus on what is the most important one. And that's why Scrum or the Agile says responding to change. You can change your priority. You can change your priority every sprint. Right? That is the option given so that we can maximize the amount of work which is valuable and don't do the work which is not delivering any value. And this is essential because time is critical.
Hello guys, my name is Mukul Joshi. I work for Siemens. I have something to share. I was listening to what you guys were saying and I agree to most part of it. Okay, but one of the requests I have is I think you expand this not just to, it's not about product. Okay, it is about product, but not just limited to product. And if you look at all the things around you, this is a, in a world of technology and so much of getting connected to each other nowadays. This is a very important aspect. You look at your car as an example, or I am also responsible for recruitment within Siemens. I look at job descriptions where we talk about mandatory skills and good to have skills and some things which are not required. So I think if you take Agile as a mindset and Lean as a mindset, okay, just expand your thought apart from the product and companies we work on, right? All of you might be owning a car or a bike or whatever, or a mobile phone, for example, and people buy expensive phones. How many features do you really use? And Siemens being an engineering company, we have a habit of over engineering a lot of things. So we have over the years learned it the hard way. I think UX is one of the aspects where people are talking about ease of using the application. Okay, but at the same time, it's also about what is really required. And and Vijay was part of these some of the things which we did with Siemens, where we did Kanu analysis, where we figured out the requirements which were sent. A lot of them were really of no use at all. So they were good to have, but they none of them, if you go and ask the customer, he said, yeah, if you push that in with the budget you have, I have no problem, but it's not something I need really.
Yeah.
So I think I think one of the things we should look at is broaden our base. It's not just this. You look at all the things we buy, whether it's consumer durables or the software or things we use actually. I have a laptop in front of me and I will suddenly look at the keyboard and I see a lot of keys there which I have never used actually. For example, I'm not a guy who uses numlock, the number thing. I never use it. In fact, I am seeing at it right now and I see a lot of dirt there actually because I've never touched it. So those kind of things. So I think it's important, but we should look at it in a broader sense and not just about product and features we want to deliver.
Yeah, exactly. That's a nice view, Mukul. I think when you said that you are responsible for recruitment, so I think you also implement that principle there, right?
Yes, I
Make
do.
choice,
Yeah.
say no to many, say no to many. So I think that's a very good perspective. Everywhere it is implemented. Yeah. Even
Exactly.
in life, I believe. Even in life, I believe you have choices to make all the times, and you should be in a great position like that to make choices. You said no to many and say yes to one. And as you said, it's a statistics also. This principle is derived from a statistics. What statistics says is only 13% of any product feature, 13% of the features are generally used by users.
Exactly.
40,
Yeah.
43% are rarely used, and about 50% are never used.
Yeah. True.
So that's what Mukul was actually saying. So make your choices is simply that. However, that's a difficult English to understand. And I think that's why people have chosen this. and they really said, I mean, as Mukul said, they say the art of maximizing the amount. It's an art. No one else, I mean, not everyone else can do it. It's an art to choose. And that's not successful in doing that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mukul and Vijay. Wonderful. Yeah, it's art. 1 + 1 is not 2.
Yeah.
So you have to put your brain and then get the things done. Wonderful. Okay, let's
Yeah.
move to the second one. The second one we have is about the self-organizing team. The best architectures, requirements, and designs emerge from self-organizing team. Okay, who would like to go first? This is lean coffee, right? So
Yeah, so anyone?
yeah.
Which one we are taking, Rahul?
The 11th, which is the
11th. Okay, the
second
best
highest
architecture
vote.
requirements and design emerge from self-organizing team. Yeah, I think we may have a debate here.
Who would like
Mukul, do you
to go
have
first?
any say on it?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yes, I do. It's not that I don't have it, but
Yeah.
yeah. Self-organizing teams. So I think this is a foundational thing. It's a mix of. So I look at it. It's a mix of expectation and something which you also derive from the environment around you. I think
Yeah.
self-organizing team. So normally what I've seen in organizations, I think if the organization environment, surroundings, the way of working, the myths regarding the organization, and the so-called the facts regarding the organization all play a part in ensuring that you have a conducive environment where team can get self-organized. Okay, this is an expectation which management normally puts on to a lot of project managers and the teams and all the key interfaces within the team, that they should get self-organized. What does that mean? Okay, one of the things which I believe is if you want to really have self-organizing team, one of the things you should have possibly a tolerance for big failures for those teams. Okay, and I have not seen it in organization where you have this tolerance where you want any teams to fail. I have seen self-organized teams who are doing good job. They are empowered in some way. They are talented. They can make decisions. They understand what is to be done. They can focus on things which really matter to them as a team, to the customers they are serving to, and the product and the domain. They are loyal to everything, and they are intelligent. But one of the things I have seen, management does not have a tolerance for failure. They just do not want them to fail ever, because you are self. It's like saying, since you are smart, you should always score well. And I think one
Yeah.
of the things one of the things which I fail to understand, it's a principle, I agree, and this more than principle, I think in the behavior of organization, it has become an expectation more than a
Yeah.
principle which says that, okay, this is how it should be, and let them go and organize it the way they want it. They will have their failures, they will have their success point, high points and low points. but I have not seen real courage from the leadership in general at times to have
Yeah.
to give them that space and then let them flourish in the way they want it. And I think if we are able to do that, if we are able to protect them from being labeled or typecast into something that, oh guys, you were not able to do that, I think people normally end up doing great things.
Yeah.
But in general,
Taking in.
I think I think it's a leadership failure in that sense. It is not the problem of the teams actually.
Yeah, so if there is a self-organized team is there, then so many things can be done, right? That's also. So one of the thing to have a self-organized team is to have a cross-functional team as well. If the team is not cross-functional, they will always depend on someone else or somebody else on some of the part of the work, right?
What do you mean by cross-functional? I always get amused by this. What is
So the
cross-functional?
cross-functional simple thing is whatever work the team takes, right? They have
Mhm.
all the skills necessary to complete the work by the team itself.
No, no. What is cross-functional? I understand this. You are again
So
putting an
we call
expectation on a
about,
team.
yeah, functional, we call it the function is development is one function, testing is one function,
Yes.
right? The requirement analysis is one functional. So what we are saying, the teams are created in such a way that not all developers are in one team. Then we have another team which is all part of all testers are part of the team. Third one is all business analysts and product owners. That is silos, right? We have a team based on functions. But what we are saying now, cross-functional in the sense that it is cut across. So in one team, there will
So
be few
Rahul,
developers,
so,
testers. Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. Okay. Uh, Cross-functional, and it's a good word. I am not denying it, that there are cross-functional team, and it's a very, very inward, and organization actually take a lot of pride in having cross-functional. I think what you're talking about is a cross-skill team. See, so you have an objective of delivering something. In our case, it's a software product. Okay, you're going to need a tester, you need to go to a developer, architect, a domain expert, maybe a safety manager, since we also work with safety critical products, maybe a quality manager to look at the things. Okay, so a team is always a diversified skill group.
Yes.
I don't understand what is cross-functional there. I think you have a set of group who come in with different skill set to achieve a single objective. In our case, customer centricity, with making sure that our customer is successful, so that we become
Mhm.
his reliable partner.
Yeah. So earlier times we used to have certain functions like testing, architecture, design, requirements. These were the typical functions before the advent of agility. And very simply, they said we need a team which is made up of people who Mukul, you said that skilled. Yes, that's also a right word. So all the functions in that one team, so that you develop a software which is functional for end user to use. So whatever it needs inside that team has to be there.
Exactly.
Maybe right from requirement to
Exactly.
So
So just an example, Rahul, just to challenge you further a bit.
Yeah.
Indian team is a cross-functional team. Indian cricket team
Yes.
is a cross-functional team.
So cross, everybody is cricketer, right? From that perspective. But
So it's a
then what
team,
you are
right?
saying? Yeah, it's a team.
It's a
Yeah.
You
cricket
cannot have
team.
all batsmen or all bowlers, right?
No,
Some
you
of them
cannot.
will have multi-skill people. So
Yeah, but we don't call it a cross-functional Indian cricket team.
yeah, so this one is what even in the scrum also we say we need team, but right, the formation of the
Exactly.
team should be in such a way that they will be able to deliver the value. Now even the cross
Absolutely.
function,
I agree.
yeah, so that is the purpose. That's why we highlight. See, at the
Yeah.
time of forming the team, we will highlight that when you form the team, it should be self-sufficient in the way that they should be able to complete the work on their own. If they are dependent on
Correct.
somebody else,
I
that
agree.
doesn't make sense. From
I
that,
agree.
so cross
So I
multi-skill
agree.
person,
Exactly.
agreed.
That is a
Multi-skill
wonderful
is
thing.
required.
Multi-skill. Why I challenged you on cross-functional, I'll tell you. in a traditional company, and forgive me for saying Siemens is definitely a big traditional company. We're trying to get new ways of doing things, but we are also buried under the pressure of having too many years of legacy. But the problem is, I'll tell you, cross-functional in our sense, normally team in our sense is that they are not completely committed to your team. They only become part of your team for a time box thing, where they only come, do their thing, and get away. And
Projectize.
exactly. And in that sense, that's something I want. I do not like in the sense, because whatever time you are associated with an objective, okay, does not make you only responsible for that much objective. If you played your part, went away, but the overall objective failed, you are still part of it. And that is the reason I have a slight dislike for cross-functional, because in our case, people come in, do their stuff and get away. In fact, that is the problem, where we say that you do not have skin in the game. You just play your part and go away, but you don't have skin in the game.
But Mukul, there is another aspect of it.
Yes, please.
Hey, Nitin. So there is another aspect, like I have been doing Agile Scrum since 2009. And I have seen that, people really don't understand the exact meaning of the values. They don't understand the crux of the value. Rather, people have started calling, Agile as a process. Rather than calling it as a methodology or a mindset, they have started calling it as a process. Right?
Correct.
This is not at all a process. They used to write in resume that they are following Agile as a process. Seriously,
I agree.
You should know what you're talking, right? Like cross-functional, I'm very much aligned to you that you don't like this cross-functional. Nowadays, management thinks cross-functional means we don't need only testers. We need developer who can test, who can design, who can, do the requirement gathering. So that is the crux the people have started taking out of this, cross-functional. Cross-functional was basically you are not only aligned to one module. You don't have only the knowledge of one module. You should know the whole system, end-to-end system, so that if in case you have to do some kind of integration testing, you need to, give your inputs on some other module. You should know what you are talking about. You should know the end-to-end complete, that product. Functional, like simple, single module. You should not be only specific towards one single module, but you should know the whole product end to end. That was cross-functional. Now people have started, taking that from the skill set point of view. Now they think that, a developer can be a tester, can test also. He can do unit testing. He can do this. How can you expect, you are not hiring a Superman. You are hiring a simple engineer who has, a skill set like a developer, a tester. You cannot expect a tester to start his career as a developer after 10 or 20 years of, spending the whole career into development.
But I'll also tell you a funny story about this, and take it as a funny, okay? You are right. People do have their own area of expertise. One is interest and an area of expertise, both. And both are important. I'm not denying that. But I take a lot of interviews, and I'm part of a lot of interviewing. And it's great learning to talk to people. You get to learn more about the people and the story behind it. But I have seen, in the last few years, I have been interviewing. Every other developer who comes in the interview and gives an introduction talks to me about being a full stack developer. But when they actually are allocated a project, one of the things is that I am not really a tester in that sense. I don't like doing work for testing. I am more of a developer. I want to do something on the framework and the cloud side. But during the interview, you just said full stack, and full stack means from A to, like Amazon, A to Z, right? It's a full stack. You can do anything. But that's the problem of this, right? I have heard a lot of people saying that I'm a full stack developer, but I do not like testing, and I have not done this before. Then how do you become a full stack man? Come on.
See, this is the actually irony of India. People. I mean, I would only say India because I have seen most of the people with this mindset here only. If in case you are a developer, you are into elite class. If you want to be, less of technical, go into testing. If you don't want to be any technical, go into Agile, right? Become Scrum Master also. They just forget this, that, this is a different mindset game.
Let's come back to the topic.
Right. No, I agree. Sorry.
Samuel, people are saying here, especially more about India. Would you like to add anything from your area? I mean, Gulf. What do you
Don't
think?
worry. Don't worry. It's the same mindset. Again, it's agile. It's not big in here in Kuwait. Maybe in Dubai it's better as a more mature. About cross-function team, again, forget cross-function. Let's speaking about team. Okay, we need a team to deliver value. Okay, so this team to deliver a value need collaboration together, need working together to deliver the value. This is what I need just to add. So it will be cross-function to deliver the value. If I have one missing, I will not deliver. For example, if I am not know anything about server side or servers hardware, I will not deliver my project, right? This is just what I need to add.
Yeah. But I think I would like to add what Mukul also said. He's also speaking the real business logic. What he was saying is cross-functional may not be possible in all the senses. For an example, take an example of UX expert, which is required in multiple teams, but may not be possible to get or not be required all the time. So in that case, you can make use of certain subject matter expert required whenever in sprint they can come. So I think there's a lot of scope for gray hairs. Agility has come. Some people have developed it, put it. All those 17 people doesn't mean that there cannot be an exception to it. Yeah. So make utilization of your own gray hairs that you have actually got through a lot of experience in your own career. So I think that is also important. But yeah, majority of the times it should be true. Sometimes it may be a little bit of deviation here and there. Like Mukul said, there might be some one or two cases wherein you need to take an exception. But mostly, this team should be able to give at the end a potentially releasable software.
I agree. Yeah. And also the rules for a Scrum Master or coach, working with team. For example, I will tell some scenario I do it here. For one sprint, I told the developer you will be the tester, and the tester you will be the developer. And in these cases, I sprint backlog, I minimize the sprint backlog, like I make it like 60%. Why? Because I need to make a T-shape in my teams. I need this to be success because sometimes there is no developer available, there is no tester available. What I will not do. Okay, if you do this exercise, you will build the full stack developer or full stack engineer.
So also there is a T-shaped developer. Like I am interested or I have done a little bit of things across, but I'm expert in one area or two area kind of. But I can do a little if required. If situation comes, I can do it. But as Mukul said, yeah, I like this, but things can be done in other areas too. Yeah. Over to you, Rahul. Sorry.
So what I was saying, just the last couple of points. So when we want to make self-organized team, right, where the expected outcome is based architectures, requirements, and design, then the whole team should be participative or should be invited for those discussions as well, right? It shouldn't be one person is doing and then saying everybody else to follow. Then we won't have the based architectures, requirements, and design. We should value everyone's input. And that's also very critical. And somebody already highlighted earlier as well. See, if you look at the principle number 5 as well, give them the environment and support they need and trust them, right? The autonomy has to be there. For this one, for the principle number 11, right? If you want to have the based design, based architectures, right? Then they also should be very clear that why we are developing this one. Who is ultimately going to benefit from this one? Right? Then only they will be able to suggest. Otherwise, if they just follow the order, they will build whatever is being told to them. But the value, the based architectures will be designed, delivered when they are part of it. So they should be just told what is required to be done, and it's up to them that how they will be delivering. Then probably we will get this one, the based architectures, requirements, and design.
Rahul, I just wanted to add something. You talked about, you used the word autonomy, and I agree to that. You guys need to have autonomy. but it is just not enough. Okay. And this is something which we've discussed within the leadership team. Autonomy is necessary so that they can do things which they believe in. Authenticity in terms of doing and believing in the objective which needs to be achieved. The last one is also accountability, that whether it's failure or success, they will own it as a group and not as individual. So it is not just autonomy which will work here.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Mukul,
yeah.
I normally say that if I'm being told to deliver something or to be done in a particular way, then I probably will focus only on those area. I won't look at it, how do I improve another stuff. But if somebody tells me that, okay, you have the option, you whatever way you would like to do it, but you need to make sure that this one is done, then probably I will take more effort. See, that's why the Scrum, what we are saying is that let team commit. Let team commit what they can commit. If as a team we commit, okay, we will deliver, then see what will happen on the outside world. What we have committed as a team, we have committed, so we should deliver. If Vijay and Mukul says, okay, you deliver this one, then we might have excuse. Yeah, but we couldn't deliver. So that's a bit different. That what, but I agree with you as well. Authenticity as well,
Yeah.
and then the accountability. That as
So
well.
I'm talking about both, all
That's
those three things as a team and not
Yes,
as
yes, yes.
individuals. Does not matter.
yeah.
Individual
Yes.
can have their views and they can discuss it within the boundaries of their own team. But as a group, these are three attributes which we would expect from a team, so that
Yeah.
we make them focus on things which really matter.
Very true. Good.
Yeah. So
Yes.
one of the characteristics of any Scrum or Agile team is they are accountable as team. So Mukul rightly said accountability as team. So that's one of the characteristics.
Very true. Yeah.
And also, I would like to just add one example. Rahul, do I have just one example?
Yeah, very quickly.
If you take examples of Linux or Mozilla, all these softwares, the architecture and everything was made by people who are not being paid. They're just a group of kind of, freelance or highly motivated people. They came together and made something. So even today, the Linux architecture is like, virus doesn't really impact Linux. So that's one of the great example. Also, I played about 50 times a game of by Tom Wujek, the game of the architecture using marshmallow and spaghettis. So the best architecture makers playing that game are the kids, school-going kids who don't really understand even ABCD as on today. They are the best architecture makers, So that's one of the example. So I even in teams I have played that. So some people apply some normal logic like kids, they can make great structures. That's what I see. Yeah, that's just an example. Yeah.
Very true. Okay, good discussion. Let's move to another one. So we have the third one, highest voted is the principle number 1. Our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. So many keywords. Who would like to go first? Someone who has not spoken till now would like to try out?
You call upon someone.
Okay. Okay, so what are the keywords? Very simple, right? This one. Our highest priority is what? Deliver software?
I think Azhar wanted
satisfaction.
to.
Yeah.
Azhar and
Going by the keywords in this particular principle. So like at the end of the day, what we are working towards is to continuously deliver value to our clients. So there is that is why we do all the hard work which is required, and which also eventually helps the business to grow. So I guess this is one of the most important principle on which all other principles are based on. So that is why it is lying on number 1. So this is something which can be considered as the foundation of delivering, which we are supposed to deliver in a continuous way without having major in spite of having roadblocks. uh, we should be able to do what we are supposed to do and in a continuous way.
Yep. Very good. Thanks, Ajay.
So this particular point one says that the basic principle of agile is like you have to do the continuous deliveries of the MVP. Basically, each and every sprint contains some MVP, right? The way you have to design the sprint is the so that you should deliver some MVP by end of the day and end of the sprint, and that is basically the goal of the sprint. So this is on first priority, highest priority, and that is why it is number one. So this particular principle says that you should start delivering the MVPs, or you can say the value out of your deliverables after each and every sprint, and that should start right from the very first sprint only, if in case you can. So that will be the achievement.
Yeah, very good, Nitin. So what we are essentially saying, or you are essentially saying, is the big bang, deliver everything at the end, want to work. We want early delivery as well, right? Continuous,
Right.
like as you mentioned, sprint over sprint, we will be delivering, but early, as soon as we provide them. So what will happen, why we should focus on early delivery?
Continuous feedback, because we used to
Wonderful.
take the feedbacks. We will
Yeah,
get the feedback early in this stage and we will start working on that.
wonderful. I was also going to say the same. Unless we know the feedback, right? How do we know whether it's valuable to them or not? And it's always better, right? As if we know it early, that okay, it is valuable to them or not. After doing 6 months or 1 year of project, and then we deliver, and then we receive the feedback, it's not important, it's not a valuable to us. There's no point. That's why very early is very key. It's a keyword here. Even the continuous delivery is also a keyword, right? In this one, let's talk about how do we what has to happen so that this principle is satisfied. What are the
We need
practices?
to we need to reprioritize, keep on prioritizing our backlogs.
Correct. MVP was one, reprioritizing the backlog. Yeah, that's good. Even the
And then
continuous feedback. Yeah.
So as it
having collaboration on a regular basis, so that they also aware of what we are doing, and customer can talk about means they can check the progress as soon as possible. So early I'll say early, what I'll say, early failure also we can get to know from this. Not only success, the early failure can also come as early as possible.
So there's one perspective I'm just having. When we say that concept to product is being practiced in any of the software development industries, or per se any product development, you can name it. Um, do we really need to ask a particular question whether we know the customer fully? We know the customer's requirement fully. In many cases, have experienced that product owners or product managers or whoever is working with the customers build certain hypotheses that the customer may need this based on certain conversations, but this hypothesis is not validated against whether really that hypothesis is valid, is right or wrong in a perspective, whether you really think that what we have assumed or probably have understanding, is it what you echo with or not. So that early, when it starts to build certain pipelines or certain requirement phases, when we try to build in certain customer what they need, whether it is getting validated is equally important. So when many methods, as a UX person, there is a researcher or UX perspective that we have discussed in some of the other principles. I think that validation through various means, maybe paper napkin sketches, maybe some quick prototypes, maybe some quick POCs, is something that is a key element to exercise in the customer journey when we are delivering certain softwares or certain requirements per se. It can be for anything. And that actually helps as an early feedback mechanism, in my opinion. A
Yep.
big bang start may not help, but I think hypothesis validation is one key element in my perspective.
I would also like to say that, to support the first principle, you will need to follow, actually you need to follow principle 4, wherein it says that, continuously the business people and the development team has to work, hand in hand, because it's not all about that you are working the, product right, but it is also important to know that you are building the right product, right? And for that, you need to keep in touch with the business team, let the, understand that, because I mean the technical world is changing. I mean, not only technical, but the business is changing a lot. Every second or third week, the requirement changes, because due to the the demand that the market has. So the priority keeps on changing, so the development team and the business team has to work hand in hand, because then only you will be able to keep on prioritizing the right feature on the top and keep delivering the actual MVP that is needed, or else I mean the customer will miss the market. If in case they will miss the market, the targeted audience, then of course the business will get hampered, and indirectly it will hamper you also.
Cannot. Yeah, go ahead. Somebody.
I need just to add 2 points here. First one, MVP, we have in every project one MVP. After that, we have incremental product. This is just to solve some anti-pattern happening. Other part, it's about delivery. Currently, if you're working with team or software teams, you just focus about product working, output, okay, but they not focus about outcome. Maybe we build a product, maybe we build a software, but outcome of it for the customer, nothing. So we need focus about our outcome. This is just what I need to add. Thank you.
Yeah. Wonderful. Output versus outcome. You might deliver, the output is there. You are following all the ceremonies and everything. The reports are generated, but the outcome, the value delivered is not there.
Anybody from the safety domain or Airbuses or something like that, wherein there are standards that wants you to adhere to certain pattern? I think that would be important. Someone speaks from that area too. How do they do this?
Probably we do not have.
Okay. I think we're reaching time.
Yep. So we won't go and pick up the another one, but a very good discussion we had on 3 principles which we picked up, and everybody participated as well. So that was the intention, that everybody speaks up. We learn more by sharing our thoughts and listening to others. So that really has happened. So that's really wonderful. Before closing, we have a very quick...
Rahul, I just listening to them. I think for us, we are a captive R&D, so bringing in a real customer at times is not really something which happens for us, because we are part of a bigger R&D, and then PLM as a thing might be separate at times, who actually are the real interface to customers. But for us, the principle you're talking about, obviously, I think we know the purpose, and we know how we do it with different projects and products. For us, the way I see it within us, I think this is one of the reasons why we can get closer to customer in that sense. Otherwise, for us, there are very few chances where we can really get closer to customers or the voice of the customer. In our case, it's the PLM product organization where they actually talk to customers. Otherwise, we work in pretty isolated way where we believe we have understood everything. We believe we are doing the right things. We believe we are going to have the greatest product, the greatest technology and all that. But this is a place where we get validations for all our beliefs, honestly, and align them with what they also expect as an outcome, as Samuel was talking about. And it's a beautiful word, outcome, instead of output. So for us, this is a place where we can build in that customer confidence, have that customer proximity, and have a real word of a real directional guidance in that sense. They do not normally, I have not seen in all those years where they have really scrapped that, all that thing was scrapped. There's nothing value to what you have done for last 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But in general, they do give very beautiful directional guidance. And I think it also links to the whole principles there with self-organizing team who are ready to reflect and learn and ask for a constructive feedback of what they have done. So I look at it as an avenue to get the customer proximity and have that exchange of thoughts of what they expect and what we have understood and done. So I think that's in that sense a wonderful alignment process in that sense.
Yep. Thanks, Mukul. Very true. This gives opportunity, right, to understand the customer and validate the stuff. Wonderful.
Exactly.
Okay, we are closing. So the